Welcome to Kiy NY7. This is Sunday, spiritual Sunday, right? So I had moon effects. I wanted to talk, do a little stream about the moons. How they're saying that the Earth has two new moons now, and things that went on with the messy New York City mayor race that's been going on. And Mom Donnie, he's making it about race and things like that. I don't see it that way. I wonder what your views are. I'm going to just show what they're saying. And I hope everyone is doing good. And whoever catches the live stream, that's great. And whoever catches the replay, that's great as well. So also, I just found out yesterday, because it came out a couple of days ago, that Melania Trump is being sued by an author, Michael Wolff. And like I said about the mayoral debate, this just, it's a lot going on. It's kind of really crazy. Sleewa has ran a bunch of times already too. He's running again. Want to just show some clips and see what y'all think about that. I like to talk about things to do with astrology, community, spirituality, sexuality, as kind of main focuses. So this touches on a couple of those things with astronomy. So I want to show some of that. And there's a lot going on in the church. What I was saying a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks, over 3 weeks ago, I said pimping pastors. Now I'm seeing that in other people's titles. Kind of interesting. All right, I'm going to show some clips and then I'll get the live stream started.
Praise him like he never prayed before. If he made a way, shout hallelujah. If he turned it around, shout glory. If he opened doors, shout amen. He provided for you. Shout yeah. 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 Yeah.
In time for Halloween, my fave Freddy Krueger. I had to add him in. I did a little meme where I added him in. There was a guy in church, and you know, it's Sunday too. It makes you think about things to do with church too, even more sometimes. He just looked like he was doing something to do with Freddy Krueger instead of focusing on him being in church. It was kind of crazy. But now I'll get right into the politics, which is why we're here in the moon stuff.
Saturday. Listen.
Andrew Cuomo will spend much of tonight attacking me. He is a desperate man, lashing out because he knows that the one thing he's always cared about, power, is now slipping away from him.
You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives.
Joran, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin, and Andrew, your failures could fill a public school library in New York City.
Woo! CBS News Executive Director of White House and Politics, Finn Gomez, joins me now to digest what we just heard there. Finn, good morning. This was a heated debate, but for New Yorkers who've yet to decide who they want to be the next mayor, who really made a solid impression?
Yeah, I know it's October 23rd, Errol, but it definitely felt like July 4th last night, following those fireworks, those rhetorical fireworks from the contenders last night. But speaking to Cuomo supporters last night, this was the version of Cuomo they hoped to see in the previous debate, pressing the 34-year-old Mamdani, the progressive in this race, on his comparative inexperience, past controversial remarks on Israel and the New York Police Department, and for even posing for a photo with a Ugandan leader who promoted anti-gay persecution. Mamdani, the frontrunner, stood center stage, as you saw there, between Cuomo and Sliwa, and those two repeatedly ganged up on the Democratic nominee. Sliwa said his two young sons, who are Jewish, felt unsafe, and that Mamdani was not addressing the concerns of many Jewish voters in New York. He also accused Mamdani of supporting, quote, global jihad. Mamdani shot back that he never has supported global jihad, and that he was being unfairly targeted for his Muslim faith. And while Mamdani himself would aggressively defended himself, he did also play it safe at times. There was one memorable moment where he wouldn't take a position on several of the housing ballot initiatives that will also be on that November 4th ballot. And as you recall, that's one of his key issues that he's running on.
All right. Reason I was showing this is because for some time now, I noticed with Mamdani, he has been saying that he's been racially targeted, things like that. But he's running for mayor, and to me, when you come out, and greetings to everyone that's coming in, there's an open chat room, so feel free to share your thoughts. You're encouraged to do so. I'm Kiy NY7. Thanks for coming through. With Mamdani, it's like, don't use race if it's not about race. Coming from someone that has their own experiences and studies on it, it's like he keeps crying and using emotions to get his votes. So I'm wondering how you feel about that too. And the other part of the stream does have to do with astronomy. So I put a question in the chat too. Do you feel that moons or a moon does have an effect on us? So I have some information about that and how it falls into our zodiac and the type of effects that, it could possibly, have on people coming through. Madame, I want to show something just to remind how he was before with the emotions and how I feel like he's just pushing emotions over anything. Let me show that.
To announce her support for his campaign, but the endorsement was quickly overshadowed by a brouhaha over comments Mamdani made in a podcast where Jewish groups say he was equating the Holocaust with Intifada. In response to reporters' questions, Mamdani said it's taking a toll to be the first Muslim to run for mayor.
I get messages that say the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim. I get threats on my life.
And that's a serious thing too, having that, of course. But he's running for mayor of New York City, and it's going to take, it just takes guts. It's like there's people like myself, smaller people and stuff like that, you know what I mean, that go through our own experiences too. Those of us that know that in the type of line of work you're having, that you're doing, you know that you sign up for it. You wish that it didn't happen or occur, but the average person that has stuff going on in politics or whatever your religiousness is or your sexual orientation, you're most likely going to get death threats. So the way he handled it, I just felt like, okay. And I was like, maybe I'm being a little hard on him. I was like, no. He's like, wants to run for a tough position, but wants to cry as soon as he gets something that he's surprised he received, whether he's Muslim or not. That's my take on it. So that's why recently, just this week, when they did the mayoral debate, the way things were going with that, I felt like, again, it was just ridiculous. So I want to show just a highlight on that. And then also the guy that is actually, yeah, I'll do that right now. All right, it's taking me too long to find that. I'm gonna go to the man that is suing Melania Trump for the freedom of
an announcement. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Wolff. I've written 4 books about Donald Trump. And also before his death, I extensively interviewed Jeffrey Epstein, not least of all about his relationship with Donald Trump. I've spoken publicly about aspects of those interviews, including the things Epstein said about his relationship with both Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Several days ago, I was notified by lawyers for the First Lady that they intend to sue me for $1 billion for some of those statements.
So I was like, okay, that's a lot going on. So there's just a lot of things that was going on this week, with politics and Letitia James. That's another thing in politics from New York, another New York City native. She pleaded not guilty. I showed y'all a couple of weeks ago the paperwork that shows that it looks like she committed fraud on her housing application, and something else that was going on with that. That was more in her favor, but she's coming out saying she didn't do this and do that, and she's got a lot of people rallying behind her. I'm like, that's fine, but you wrong for what you did. She's wrong for what she did. Um, the moons, we got a moon coming up, a super moon in November 5th. It just seems like there's a big shakeup too. Not a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but I just look at different things to do with spirituality and some things that have to do with like science, the science view of things. A lot of the politics is like shaky and rocking us right now, but so are things that are going on in space, like I've been saying for some time. Now we got the super moon coming, and the reason that it's gonna possibly intensify your passion that you may have, or anything passionate in your life, or lack of passion. Now's the time to tap into that. Now's the time, and coming into the weekend that's coming up now. Why? Because this moon is coming into Scorpio, which our zodiac is very passionate and intense. So you can expect some of that to go on around the time that you're seeing the moon come in. Okay. Trying to get to my other video. I wasn't able to locate it. Oh, so I'll just say more about what I was looking into with that. All right. Some things I know, some things you got to keep up with and make notes of it. The supermoon, like I said, is in Scorpio. Intense and passion come with that. It should be intensifying the energies and emotions that you may have, or it'll bring out emotions and intensify the ones that you could be suppressing, because it's also a time for release. So it's basically saying to release things that aren't really beneficial to you. Things, it's like, I forgot I can't play that and talk at the same time. Wait a minute. Releasing things that are going on around you that you're not benefiting from. So that's pretty much a bottom line for that. So that does have to do with the moons. All right. Okay, y'all awful quiet tonight. Okay. All right. Let me get to, I had another thing that I wanted to show for. So Eric Adams did endorse him, even though he hated him. He couldn't. Well, I won't say hate, but he couldn't stand him. So people are saying that um, Cuomo wants to win. He wants to win for Trump. That's why Trump wants him to win. Him and Trump don't get along. I don't know what they think that they would do together. They don't. But Trump said he would more, they're saying more likely want to see Cuomo win. Sliwa, I don't know. Madami, he's not qualified enough for it. And like I said, he's just too emotional about a lot of things that are going on. And he's not going to be able, I feel like, to hold office if you can't stand up and kind of stand strong for yourself. If you're going to be a leader, especially a leader of New York City, it doesn't make sense. So my channel I talk a lot about race because race kind of just, it just tends to come up a lot. And I don't appreciate when I see it misused. And I feel that that's what he's doing. He's misusing it. As soon as Eric Adams endorsed Cuomo, the following day, Mandami did a speech and he had a lot of Black Muslims behind him. To me, I feel like, I don't know who coordinated that, but that was like a race bait. And I feel like that's what his race is being based on. It's race, and he's scared for his life. He got this going on, that going on. He's a victim and stuff. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not looking for a victim to lead, not victimhood. Some of us are victims of things and things to do with racism, but to lead with victimhood isn't how a leader should lead. You fight back against it if that's truly what it is, but you don't call something out when it's not to get votes. And it just seems like that's what Mandami keeps doing. And it doesn't make any sense. And the waterworks came out. He was strong on the floor. You heard what he said. He went in on Cuomo. He was saying, Cuomo, what about all them women you was touching and bumping up against? Which, when I even showed y'all some of the video footage, I'm going to show some more this week. I felt Charlotte was lying. She was fabricating what she was saying. She didn't even have enough to go on from the video. So I'm going to show her. We're going to look at what she said. And after I did that stream, she showed up at the debate, the mayoral debate. One of the victims, alleged victims that lost the case against Cuomo, was at the mayor debate that Cuomo, Sliwa, and Mandami participated in. Don't you think that's kind of funny, kind of strange? I think it's interesting. She lost the case. He fought back and took her to court. Where Cuomo went wrong is that he shouldn't have not dropped out, but he shouldn't have resigned as governor, even though he won the case. So I think people still were confused and misconstrued on how that case actually played out. All right, let me see. All right, please don't cuss in here. Just use our big words. I don't know. I have to go. Oh, I have to go in a different way. I'll just get rid of that. All right, I'm working on getting the right traction back over here. All right. I wanted to show, again, I'm going to show some more stuff about the moons, with the supermoon going on. And if you're interested in things that have to do with astronomy, I do touch on things to do with that too. That's why, yeah, so much so about the moons and the moon behavior. Okay. I'll do a little more on the moon, then I'll probably. Okay. So, like I showed in the thumbnail, I'll go over this quick and brief. They were saying that the Earth has two moons, but as people probably know by now, the other moon that they're calling a moon is really a tiny asteroid, but qualifies as a moon. I got excited when I first heard about it because the moon that Earth is used to having is moving away from us. Every year it moves about 1 centimeter away from us. So it's bound to leave totally at some point. So it would be nice to have some more gravitational pull or behind the other moon. But that would make the moon go out of whack. So it wouldn't make sense to have two moons with gravitational pull. So only our moon has an effect on our planet for gravitational pulls and whatnot like that. So just wanted to mention that. Um, Going back here, what they were saying most recently about the Three Eye Atlas, which is the biggest thing going on in space news. NASA's been quiet. People are saying it's because the government shut down and NASA's been so quiet. We'll see. Okay, there we go. We'll have to see. But we're getting some images recently, and they're saying that the comet, which tail was in front of it instead of behind it, now it's in front of it. The closer and closer it gets to the sun. Now, this is where it just passed Mars, which it did right there, August towards October, excuse me. I keep going October, August for some reason. But a few weeks ago it was passing Mars. Then it was to go behind the sun where we can't see it right now, they're saying. And we don't know what maneuvers is going to happen after this. Some people say it's going to recharge. Some people feel the spacecraft, that it's not natural, it's artificial. Some people feel it's natural. I don't know, but I think it's a comet. I think it's just something that's astronomical. And we're going to be seeing more and more things that are just exciting and baffling that no one really understands or knows. But it's just time to see new things. And I think that's just what it's about. And to me, I see it as like symbolic too. Some people don't, I do. But the sun is extremely hot star and it's behind it now or on its way behind it. But what also is interesting is we have so much action and activity going on with comets in our solar system. So we have exactly 7 comets that are active right now coming in and out of our solar system. So right as the Three Eye Atlas is coming towards the sun, there are 2 other comets that are coming through the tail of the Three Eye Atlas. So it's cutting through its tail. That's astronomical in itself, too. There's a lot going on in space. So having a government shutdown and affecting research and amateur astronomers like myself really sucks because we miss out on what's going on. Like it causes us to miss out on things and we would like to participate in it, see what's going on, and we can't. We really can't. Let me, take care of that last one. Okay. All right. Well, I haven't been on in a while, so I've been trying to just work on some projects and I had other stuff going on in my life. So, um, any trolls, you can stick around. That's fine too. If not, negativity, please peace on out of here with that. Oh, good. You already erased your own comment, or maybe my mom did that. Okay, possibly. Okay, I appreciate it. All right. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's cutting through the tail. So there's just a lot going on. But I'll come back on. I'll be back on this week and probably have a little more to talk about as far as the science part of things and then how it affects us. But the supermoon that's coming in, why it's major, is because it's huge. It's a huge moon. It's going to be closer than the other supermoon, so it's going to be close, big, and bright. Um, like I said, it's also in the zodiac of Scorpio. So it's Scorpio season. Scorpio season is close with planet Mars. Mars is the planet of Scorpio. All right. So with Scorpios, it's a intensifying passion, um, high level of sexuality. Um, if you need to make changes and let things go. Now would be the time for release. You don't have to wait till November 5th. Prepare for it, you know? So I like to talk about things that are going on and then things that are to come that help you prepare for it. And you can come back and say, let me know if it made a difference, you know? So I just honestly feel it's a time, like I've been saying, to tap in anyway, but tap into your own inner intuition. Do that and see what it tells you. Like what you got to lose. You know what I'm saying? You could be like, oh, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what you got to lose. Nothing. Just think about what I'm saying. Um, we are entering different things and it's moving fast. So as we move faster too, I'm going to be looking more into my old and new science research, things like that, and then apply it to astronomy and come on here. But it's just interesting to me because Scorpio is very fiery. With Scorpio, um, like I said, there's a lot of passion, so it's going to bring the passion out of anyone that's willing to just release some. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on. Maybe you want to release some things. Now would be the time, and coming up would be the time to do these things. Um, and the next cycle of full moons won't be coming until November of next year. So that would be November 2026. So that would be the next time you will be seeing another super moon. So take advantage. Might as well. So again, with the two moons that they're saying in closing, the quasi moon is really a tiny asteroid. It's not an actual second moon. The Earth wouldn't be able to stay stable with two different gravitational pulls and everything. That would be a strange, chaotic episode. But like I mentioned too, just something to make note of. Our moon has and is moving further and further away from us every year. It's been happening. So, you know, I look at it as a time for empowerment. Different cycles of the moon. It's like it's a and things going on with space, but particularly with the moon right now, it's a time to be empowered and feel empowered to do some things. It might be projects you put aside. Go back to those projects. Could be something that you've been holding on to and like suppressing to, and you may need to let it out. It's saying go ahead and let that out. Oh, also in news too, before I leave out, um, go somewhere. Yeah, including you, weirdo. Um, oh shoot, what was I getting ready to say? There we go. Um, oh, with the Democrats encouraging violence. There's a Democrat that's been under scrutiny just recently, which I wanted to show too. He was saying something about they're showing his text messages, so he's not denying them. He's actually apologizing for them. I thought I had that up. I know I plan on showing it next week, not right now anyway. I thought I had that. I thought I had it pulled up. Give me a second.
that he's running on. He also fired back against Cuomo. He hit him over his sexual harassment allegations that ended the former governor's tenure. Take a listen to this exchange.
13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped.
Yeah, we'll see if the blows by Cuomo and Sliwa landed last night will impact Mamdani's status as the front runner. He's got a double-digit lead right now, Errol, and with less than two weeks to go until the November 4th elections.
Yeah, and sometimes these debates can come down to the impression that the candidates leave on voters. Afterwards, both Mamdani and Sliwa went to the spin room. It's where us reporters will be standing by to kind of get more reaction from them, while Cuomo went to the Knicks game with current Mayor Eric Adams. What does that say?
It says, I think it was a big indicator that a endorsement is likely coming from Eric Adams. If you recall, Errol, he dropped out of the race last month, and immediately, according to one poll, there was a 9-point bump for Cuomo after he dropped out. There's been a lot of talk that Adams will now support Cuomo. However, again, we're at a point now where with limited amount of time, so these candidates really have to make their impact now. So we'll see if that potential endorsement will change the dynamic of this race, if it will narrow the lead even more with just a short amount of time to go.
Fascinating race to watch. Finn, thanks for walking us through the highlights. Great seeing you.
Thanks, Errol.
Okay, what was my point with that? Oh yeah, so we showed that. So he was just really emotional about things. So we'll just see how this plays out. I said something a while back too about Democrats, at least, and I'm not saying that Republicans don't do it. It's just I'm calling out different things as I'm seeing it. Democrats, not that just because of Democrats, but some of the Democratic side have been. It just seems like choosing to allow violence, choosing to get violence going with Republicans also. But what we have here is it was a Virginia Democrat that's under scrutiny right now because his text messages was found, and he was talking about violence and just stuff like that. So it's like we're just seeing a time where we're just seeing people encouraging violence, even though on one hand they're telling you, oh, don't do this, don't do that, but then it's being encouraged. And I don't know, this is just a crazy time we're living in.
We have seen a window to who Jay Jones is.
Republican Jason.
This month, a conservative magazine revealed Democratic candidate Jay Jones sent texts suggesting that a Republican lawmaker should be shot and killed. Now, Jones has apologized for those comments, which came up repeatedly at a debate last night. At the same time, some younger Republican leaders are losing their jobs over their racist texts. Torian Small has our report. We have to warn you ahead of time. It mentions those offensive statements.
We have seen a window to who Jay Jones is.
Republican Jason Miyares, Virginia's incumbent attorney general, led off Thursday's debate with pointed criticism of Democratic candidate Jay Jones.
Jay Jones had said that he wanted to piss on the grave of his political opponents.
Miyares was referring to excerpts obtained by the National Review of text messages Jones sent in 2022 about then Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert, a Republican. In them, Jones writes in part, "Put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time." He later made reference to Gilbert's children dying in their mother's arms, writing, "Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy." Thursday, Jones offered this apology.
"I am sorry to Speaker Gilbert. I'm sorry to his family.
I'm sorry to my family, and I'm sorry to every single Virginian.
It comes amid another controversy over political rhetoric. Earlier this week, Politico reported on a trove of racist, anti-Semitic, and violent messages allegedly exchanged by leaders of the Young Republicans, a national political advocacy group.
It's called the Young Republicans, but these are, full-grown adults, 18.
Dang, I'm having some issues. It hasn't been that long since I've been on here. Goodness, I didn't know he said all that. Caught that in real time with y'all. I knew some of the things that were said, but it was mainly from reading the text. But I didn't know that was said. Wait a minute. I didn't know he said that. That was bad. That was real bad.
Pointed criticism.
Thanks for answering the poll. I know it's a little slow coming back in.
Democratic candidate Jay Jones.
Jay Jones had said that he wanted to piss on the grave of his political opponents.
Mears was referring to excerpts obtained by the National Review of text messages Jones sent in 2022 about then Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert, a Republican. In them, Jones writes in part, "Put Gilbert in the crew with the two worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time." He later made reference to Gilbert's children dying in their mother's arms, writing, "Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy." Thursday, Jones offered this apology.
I am sorry to Speaker Gilbert. I'm sorry to his family. I'm sorry to my family. And I'm sorry to every single Virginian.
See, so this is politics in America these days. This is what we got going on. My thing is too, we got generations coming up under us, right? And we always have a way that we talk to kids, and we expect that of kids and older people. And the older you get, you should be this way, that way, this way, that way. Like I've told the youth, I've been speaking with teens too recently. And a while back, I mentioned this. I was like, we do expect accountability from y'all. We expect things from y'all. But as adults, we got to do better too. And we have to be more accountable, because we can't expect our next generations to be better when we out here acting like this is what we got going on. And a lot of scrutiny has come down on my native area, New York, and particularly New York City. Upstate has its scandals too. But a lot of things are coming out in New York. And people get very vocal when it comes to New York. But at the same time, it's like, okay, y'all, like, what about all these other states? What about all these other places that are bugging out? The text messages, like, what makes you feel that that person is not going to ever say anything? What makes you so confident in these people? To be honest, in too many of anyone these days. Trust. Ooh, those of us already that got trust issues, you don't have to worry about us getting caught up in nothing. Nathan, nothing. Y'all real loose with these text messages. It don't make sense. All right, I had put a poll in the chat. Do you believe moons affect us? Oh, okay. More y'all say yeah. Okay, so we're gonna be getting it in. 67% say yes. 33% said no. All right. So I like to show things and talk about things to do with astronomy too. Show some visuals and sometimes articles just to kind of back up sometimes things of what I'm saying. I do feel it has an effect on us. What we're seeing in politics, what we're seeing in just any of our day-to-day life, it simply has a lot of effect with us, with things that have to do with space, period. I mean, what else would it be? And I can show we got dates on things, and then you notice things happen down here on the planet. Like it's so that's why I like to pay attention to it, because I like to see from all areas, because a lot of these politicians be lying. Of course, not all, but there's a lot of them. People used to say politicians lie. I felt like they was hating. Like they don't lie. What they gotta lie for, they're leading the office and everything. But as we've been watching, we're just watching things just unravel more and more.
It comes amid another controversy over political rhetoric. Earlier this week, Politico reported on a trove of racist, anti-Semitic, and violent messages allegedly exchanged by leaders of the Young Republicans, a national political advocacy group.
It's called the Young Republicans, but these are, full-grown adults, 18 to 40 years old.
Jason Bieferman broke the story and joined the Takeout with Major Garrett to discuss.
They referred to Black people as monkeys or the watermelon people. They called rape epic. They talked about the love of Hitler with factions of their party or even supporting slavery.
In a podcast appearance Wednesday, Vice President J.D. Vance seemed to minimize those comments, instead lashing out at Jones, Virginia's Democratic AG candidate.
A person who is very politically powerful, who is about to become one of the most powerful law enforcement officers in the country, that person seriously wishing for political violence and political assassination is 1,000 times worse than what a bunch of young people, a bunch of kids say in a group chat, however offensive it might be. That's just reality.
But Politico stories suggested the group chat members weren't just kids. One, it says, currently serves as a state senator in Vermont. Another was fired from his role as chief of staff in the New York State Assemblyman's office after the story's release. Another is a senior advisor in the U.S. Small Business Administration. Politico said he declined to comment. For CBS Mornings, I'm Torian Small in Virginia.
Dang, I was trying to get back up in this piece. Yeah, so you heard all that was going on. So there's like encouragement of violence, and why do I have all these tabs open? They had and I'm having difficulty too because I see some nonsense in the chat and I haven't been able to get to all of it. All right. So I have to resurrect myself. I can't find my page. Okay. So you just seen that there, and damn, I'm thrown off because I'm trying to do different things, and I'm having some little technical things. Okay. Oh gosh. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm getting it. Once I get it, I got it. Once I get it, I got it. So I'm gonna get it. Got the audio back better. There's something else I'm not able to do on my stream. No. Ow. Okay. So shoot. All right. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not gonna concern about that part. All right. Like I said, yeah, so like I said, there's just a lot going on in politics and a lot going on in our atmosphere, and I think they're coinciding with each other too. So the other thing, I was thinking about Kamala Harris's book too that she has coming out. But either way, I know I wanted to talk about some things about her book, whether I do decide to go ahead and get that or not. She may be considering running for president. So I know she did an interview just recently. It was recorded just the other day, and I know I have it saved, so I want to pull that up. Some of these are from another website. Some of these are right here that you can easily find right here on YouTube, of course. 1 second, I can pull it right up. She feels that she wasn't given enough time to really run a good campaign for president. But the thing is, like, she still took it on. And I think with Kamala, she's not one to really face reality on how things are really going and how she's been running things and just take accountability for things. Because even her VP that was running with her said the same thing. So this would be interesting if she does decide to run. I think people are just going to be just wasting time and money if you're not really fit for the job. Some of you feel Trump isn't, but he won. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is what it is.
losing the election was all. You tell this roller coaster story of the 107 days of your campaign, and it's a rollicking read. I've read it 3 times.
No kidding.
Yeah, because it's almost like a thriller. But it's clear you don't think losing the election was all your fault. So, Madam Vice President, you say you'd underestimated the public's dislike of a frail 81-year-old.
Hold on. See what I'm saying about accountability? She's already started. When she did this interview, when she wrote that book, she already knew she was coming in like, hey, I know I lost, but it wasn't my fault. When she was talking about how she was writing this book, I remember mentioning a while back, I was like, Kamala Harris sounds like she's going to target her own party. She's going to like push back on them. And that's what she's been doing. She's saying to the Democratic Party, y'all didn't help me enough. They just threw me in this. She did what she could do. And that's that. It's like, what did she learn from this? Because the more accountability people take, the stronger and the better you're going to be with whatever you're doing. So it's like she's already going in, and she's going in wanting to blame. And you can't keep blaming everyone else for your loss, my girl. Like, you know how many celebrities was coming out yelling at people, yelling at us, yelling at whoever wasn't sure or wasn't on the side with Kamala Harris even running. So to keep being blamed for it one way or the other sucks, and you're just going to lose more of our votes. If that's what you was trying to do to gain, you're going to lose more. That's how I see it. A lot of people know Dr. Umar Johnson. Y'all may know Dr. Umar. He is a school psychologist, pro-Black, you want to say quote unquote, and he is someone that has been big in the community and made national headlines a lot of times. And I should say here and there. He's also taking that turn. He's losing the school. And I feel like he's been losing his mind. And I said, he's going to start blaming his supporters. He's going to start blaming the people that helped him get there. Same thing. So I feel like today we're seeing people that are starting to blame others when they know that they had to do with it if they didn't make it or not. And instead of taking accountability, they're taking shots at people. Now it's time to write books. Now it's time to do interviews. And we're just seeing more and more people doing these things just right in front of our face. Let's play a little bit more.
Running again. Do you feel that President Biden and his team torpedoed your chances of a fair chance at winning the election?
Well, as I've written, the buck stops with me in terms of my campaign. It always did, and I take full responsibility for what I did, and that's part of why I wrote the book, is to talk about the reflections that I've had on those 107 days, what I thought were strengths, but what I also thought could have been better. And, I wrote the book for many reasons, and primarily, this election in the US was unprecedented. We had a president of the United States running for re-election and decides not to run 3.5 months before the election. The sitting vice president then takes up the mantle, running against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years, with 107 days to go. On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America. It is important to also note that it turned out to be the closest presidential election in the 21st century in the United States, and it was important to me to write this book because it is a part of American history, and I was absolutely intent on making sure my voice would be present when history reflects those 107 days.
The reason that you ended up in that situation, and you say very clearly in the book, essentially you didn't have time. You didn't have time to make the campaign your own. You didn't have time to show the public what you could believe you could really do. And you also say President Biden pulling out should not have been a choice for an individual ego or an individual's ambition. Do you feel that you were deliberately kept in the dark about what was going on and how much he was struggling behind the scenes?
What I have written is what I believe, which is, one, we needed more time. There's no question about that. Two, there were many factors that contributed to the outcome of that election. but being mindful of the fact that there were extraordinary people who were involved in those 107 days in building up an inordinate amount for the time that we had, enthusiasm and, dare I say, joy around the possibility for our country.
And that comes across, but the context here, I think, at this historical moment you talk about is so important, because there had been months of speculation around the world, here in the UK too, even in April, long before President Biden pulled out. We asked Nancy Pelosi what was going wrong. This was a huge subject of discussion. And you write that President Biden
All right, so I want to just get right to the part where she asks her about whether she was going to run or not again, and in a roundabout way, she answers it a bit. But I know she said she's focused on her book, because also I believe it's Newsom, um, governor of California, which is Kamala Harris's native, where she's from. He said he would like for her to be Secretary of State, and she says she's more focused on her
I
book
do
than
believe
anything
that
else.
Donald Trump, as I said on the debate stage before the election, and I maintain it to be true, he has shown his very nature. On a lot more to do.
what's next for you, and also what's changed in your life since then. Donald Trump stripped you of your Secret Service protection at a time when there had been attempts on his life. Of course, there have been other political killings in the US, most notably recently the killing of Charlie Kirk. Has Donald Trump's decision put you in danger?
I feel safe.
Why do you think he did it?
You'll have to ask him.
Well, you must have thought about
Now, for the record, her time was up for security anyway. Her time had ended right when the Trump administration made sure it ended. He did not end her security early. He didn't touch it. Every representative of government that is entitled to security, they have an expiration date too. Hers expired. She's no longer vice president, and she didn't win to become president. So that expired. It was expiring anyway. But what they did was they changed the narrative and said, oh, Trump doesn't want her to be protected. He took her security away. Now, maybe he could have extended her security, but that would have been at their discretion. No one ended her security early. No one deliberately put her in any danger or anything immediate that she wouldn't have been in anyway, because it expired.
it.
You have to ask him
So what I wanted to do
right
was show
now,
when she
which
talked
is
about
meeting with.
running.
Done.
That is correct. I am not done.
She's not done.
Right now, I'm focused on my book tour. And I'm glad to know that you read it 3 times.
I did. I read it 3 times because it's a great read.
Thank you.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done. I have lived my entire career a life of service, and it's in my bones. And there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future beyond what I am doing right now, which is meeting with many people. Obviously, right now I'm in the UK, but otherwise I've been spending a lot of time in our country. Most recently, I was spending an incredible amount of time in the South. I was in Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama, and talking with people and mostly listening, and I'm enjoying doing that. I think that people want to be heard right now. And one of the reasons that I decided not to run for governor of California, I want to listen to people without it being transactional, without asking people for their vote, but listening to them. I think the American people have a lot to say right now.
But you've been very clear that it's a possibility you might run again to become president. And in my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says, I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls.
All right, so we'll see. But I think her book is just going to stir some things up. So we'll see what happens. I want to have a little more information on the book, so I'll have to review it. But like I said, she's pushing back on the Democrats after her loss. She feels that Biden threw her out there, and she didn't have enough time to even have enough of a fighting chance that she did take. So she's definitely blaming the Dems and blaming blaming on everyone else. I guess it's like people are telling on people these days more than ever, and just lack of accountability more than ever. Politics, drama, TV, home life, like or however you look at it, it's been interestingly strange. So there's just a lot. So I'm gonna work on my titles too. I've been doing decent thumbnails and titles and stuff like that. But there's just so much going on. And I want the algorithm to be able to read it correctly too and get everything right, at least as I'm trying. All right, so that will be the end of that. If you're interested or if you're new, hope to see you back. If you are returning, glad to see you back. If you're interested in things that have to do with astronomy, I have that here where I do breakdowns and different things. I went over the super moon that's coming November 5th, and with the moon is coming some intense, real intense passion. Like a lot of passionate things are going to be going on, whether it's love or it could be some hatred or whatever. It's a time to things are intensifying. We have all these comets zooming all through our 7 comets zooming through our solar system in such a short amount of time. So you can't ignore that there's signs going on, above us, around us, So, I just give different takes on that and how it affects us. So if you're interested in that, to hope to see you back for some more of that. I talked about the moons and how it has effect on us. So it's a time too to be creative or just be you or bring out more of you and not let anything get in the way of that too. Because along with the moon and things going on with it, it's like it's a time to let go and release of things that just could be in the way or just not helping you get further. So just let them go. It's like time for release. So um, I like that astronomy, it can be like a guide too. And it's shown us so many new incredible things like we're seeing with the 3-eye atlas, which has been a secret. Some people feel it's an alien craft. Some people feel like, no, it is something natural. It's a comet. So just interesting to see different people's views on, what we think is going on with it. And I'm just looking forward to see what happens after it comes from behind our sun. So if you want to see more of that, we'll have that coming up. And again, it's Scorpio season. So Scorpio season, Scorpios are the rulers of genitals. All right, I didn't write it; it's been written, and they're known to be the sexiest zodiac sign in the zodiac, which is internally and maybe comes out externally. So we got that going on. So with the comets coming into our atmosphere, and we have the moons changing, so we're looking at it also that it's coming through the sign and what comes with Scorpios, what comes with that sign since it's zodiac season for Scorpios. So that's why it's more intense. We got things going on with Mars, and things are just feeling fiery. So, if you're looking for some maybe extra spice in your life, now could be the time this week and moving on into the weekend. That could be the time. So, if you're open to that and just looking into different things and just kind of, just staying open minded and having a little fun with the information that, you're getting. If you want to see more of that, I hope to see you back. All right, I'm Kiy NY, and I usually don't even talk politics, but I've been getting a lot of feedback on it, so that's why I took it kind of this route. And science to me has a spiritualness to it too. So on Sundays, if you're interested, I tend to come on around 7 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around that time. And usually like spiritual Sundays. So I give kind of infotainment on that and then some other things over here. So yeah. And I share my ideas here and I invite yours too. So thanks. And again, it's Kiy NY7. And thanks for coming through. Those that hit like too, that's appreciated because I think that helps with the algorithm too sometimes. All right. And I'll be back on kind of getting back in the groove of things. So I'm just going to try to kind of push through this up and down of algorithm and leaving and coming back on to make stuff better and and working with YouTube and things, like in the background and coming to the forefront. But all right, y'all. Yeah, we got interesting things coming up too. What was I saying? I don't have it right in front of me. I'm getting a little brain fart. All right. So I'll be back on with the information when I have it. And we'll see y'all back. Peace. Halloween's coming up too, so I'm gonna be working on some more Halloween themed stuff for us. All right.
Praise him like he never prayed before. If he made a way, shout hallelujah. If he turned it around, shout glory. If he opened doors, shout amen. He provided for you. Shout yeah, 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 yeah.